Have you ever wondered about travel hacking or how you could use points to travel more effectively? Well, I've used to take my family all over the country, and this week I sat down with one of my actual clients who's taken this concept and absolutely run with it. He breaks down how he's now taking a trip a month and also the stopover strategy, which is really cool. I hope you enjoy this video with me and my client, John. So this video is really exciting for me to be able to make because I'm sitting here with one of my great clients and friends, John. And, John and I have worked together for about 5-6 years, and what's cool about this opportunity is John and I both like this concept of travel hacking. In fact, we talked about it a few years ago, and John has really taken on and run with it. And we were doing a review and meeting recently, and he shared with me some of the things that he's been doing to be able to travel, and it's very exciting, and it's having real, meaningful results in people's lives. I've had experienced this and been talking about it for a long time, and we kind of were sharing stories of where we plan on traveling with this. So I said, you know what, let's just have this conversation again, but make it a video. Because I think it'll really bring value to people who are like, I've heard of travel hacking, I want to travel more, I'm not sure how it works, and it is a barrier of knowledge to get through.
It is. It's a whole world out there.
It is.
Learning everything. It's got its own lingo and everything.
It does, yeah, there's a lot. And so what do you think about the term travel hacking? I think people hear the word hack and they don't think of it as like a life hack. They think of it as like a negative
bad
thing.
hacking,
like your
computer hacking.
Right.
Yeah.
So that kind of turns some people off.
It sure does.
Yeah.
And honestly, it kind of did with me
yeah.
initially when I heard it too.
Yeah.
And like you said, about 4 or 5 years ago, I heard it from Daniel
in
one of our meetings here, and I didn't do anything with it then. It just kind of sat on the back burner and simmered, and then eventually I started getting into it. And as I was looking into it online, reading everything I could get my hands on, travel hacking, they are trying to change it to award travel and not get rid of hacking.
Hacking, okay.
Yeah. So
I like that. Give it more of a positive context.
Yes. There's nothing illegal about it. It's not immoral or legal or anything like that. It's completely legal to do, or we would be sitting here.
Well, and I think what's kind of exciting and a challenge at the same time is I always feel like when I have the burden of knowledge, like you're trusting me to share things with you that I know proactively, and so are all my clients. Right. So I don't think you typically go to an office like this for your retirement and you hear about these kinds of strategies. Because, but I look at it the opposite. I look at it as like, hey, retirement's that season of life, or even pre-retirement's that season of life where you can start to travel and experience and enjoy it. And it's like, what are we all doing here in the first place? It's not all about just accumulating wealth and doing nothing with it. It's about experience and making memories. And so, I always feel like it is very integral to retirement because you're retiring, you have a budget, you have income, you have cash flow, you need to you want to reach and do things you want to do, but you need to do it within this budget. Right. And this just helps you to go further with that budget.
Yes.
So to me, they're like completely integrated, but some people...
No, they are. And you do get to take full advantage of it when you're retired. But it's also something you can utilize when you're just starting out raising a family. Yeah. You're not going to be able to travel as much, but you can travel better. And that's... well said. One of the things when you get into this, probably the mistake I made is I didn't have clear, defined goals of what I wanted this to do for me. Yeah. And I would start down one path, and then I'd look over here, and this looks good. I want to do it this way. Yeah. For example, people that do this, some of them want to do nothing but first class. They're not going to fly on an airplane unless they can do it in first class. Other people don't want to spend any money. They want to go completely cashless. They want to use points and miles to pay for everything. Yeah. And they don't want to spend no money or as little money as possible. Yeah. So, and that's kind of, I was bouncing back and forth going all over. So I finally had to sit down and think about it and decide what I wanted to do. Yeah. And it was, my motto is to travel more and travel better. So that's what I've done. I'm traveling more often. Last year, my wife and I, we just added up the number of trips we took still this year, 2023. Yeah. We're at almost a trip a month. We're pretty
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, so let's do this. Because I'm a big believer in like beginning with the end in mind, right? Defining your goal up front. And again, I made the same mistake too with travel. Like it's an open world. You get very excited. It's easy to get caught up in the next shiny thing. Now I have a really clear objective for what I want to see happen every year. We plan way ahead. Right? And I'm sure you're probably way ahead now as well. What I want to hear is a little bit about what are some of the things that you've learned that are really valuable that other people kind of get a head start if they weren't trying to figure out. What are some things to stay away from? And then maybe if we could like close with like a case study. Like maybe you could break down like some of the things you've done for a specific trip.
Right.
Okay.
So to start out, I would recommend that you have to get online and start reading everything there is. Because I was shocked that when I put in award travel hacking, all the stuff that came up. I mean, there is probably hundreds of things that come up. And I started out, I don't know if we're allowed to mention thing, but the points guy was,
Sure.
He's kind of the guru in this thing. And he's the one that gave me the basic understanding of what award travel is. And it's, you know, with credit cards and getting credit card spend and rewards from credit cards that you use.
Mm-hmm.
That's the basis of award travel.
Yeah.
Then from there I got into another website, Facebook group, I should say, called Award Travel 101. They're the ones that got me off the bench into it, actually doing it.
Yeah.
They gave me the confidence and the tools, the know-how to actually get out there. And basically, if you don't know, it's basically taking what your normal spend would be on anything, on groceries, on going out to eat, going to the movies, going on vacation. And instead of paying cash or using a debit card, you use a credit card that gives you reward currency back. Now, that can be in the form of an airline card with a specific airline. If you like here in Phoenix, American Airlines is the largest airline out of Sky Harbor, so a lot of people here will have American Airline card. Or if you got a favorite hotel chain, but banks actually have the best currency because they're transferable currency, meaning you can transfer them to airlines for travel, you can transfer them to a hotel or rental car or wherever. You can use it lots of different ways.
So like an Amex or like a Chase or something.
American Express, Chase, Capital One, and Citi are the big four.
That's interesting because you could use them for all the travel.
Yeah, they have transfer partners you can transfer to, and that's how you get the outside value of your points and miles.
Yeah,
is transferring them to partner airlines to take flights, and that's the goal.
And a couple of things I always think of is like one, like you touched on. It's easy to get lost in just research and never actually take action. So it's cool that you found a community and accountability and other people you could lean on. Yeah. The other thing is, like you touched on, it's like you don't do it to go into debt. Like that would be cost prohibitive. Like
that's one thing I was going to say. You have to pay your credit card bill every month, or otherwise it's not going to work for you. Financially, it's not going to make sense to do this at all. So there is discipline involved. You do have to monitor everything and make sure you pay your bill every month. Yeah,
you don't want to go into debt for points. You want to
you
just want to do it like if you're already going to spend it anyway, why not get the points?
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
So that's one thing to stay away from. Can you kind of share us, because you're doing a trip a month, which I think is amazing. That's a whole other level that I've not gotten to yet. I mean, we're going to take a couple trips next year.
Okay.
Granted, we're taking a family of 4. Right. So it's like, but again, still, a trip a month is amazing. So like, can you walk me through how you got to that place where you constructed being able to take a trip a month, like maybe some cards that you like and some strategies?
Yes.
Okay,
so the first one I did a family one, actually. It was back in May.
Okay.
We took, my daughter graduated college, so we had planned this big trip. We really hadn't decided where. We were talking Europe and a few different places. Ultimately, it was decided on Kauai, in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So
amazing.
I had a Capital One Venture X card, which I had been using for quite a while, building up points. And they have a feature on there called a purchase eraser. And that is if you use your card to buy airline tickets or hotels or anything related to travel, you could go back and erase the purchase at 1 cent per point. So this was when I was just beginning to get into the transfer. I wasn't real sure about it, and it was such short notice that I really couldn't find something to make it work. So it was either do this or do nothing. So I did the purchase erase. So I bought the tickets, and then I purchase erased the tickets on Capital One. I did it with that, and I did it with our car rental. The only reason I didn't do it with our hotels, because we didn't stay at a hotel, we stayed at a timeshare through a friend of ours, and I had to pay cash for that. So that was the only thing that was out of pocket for me for getting the family there was out. But other than that, the flights, the rental car for a week for 7 days was absolutely free.
That's incredible. And break down that term, purchase erase.
Okay, purchase erase is it's specific to Capital One, and that is they give you the option to make it easy. Capital One, they're the last ones to kind of come onto the scene to begin with the award travel, and they tried to make it as simple as possible. And what they did is their card, you get earning wise, anything you spend it on, you get 2 points for every dollar that you spend. right? And then that accumulates, and then when you have enough, you can redeem it, cash it in, view it as a currency, that it's a Capital One money. And you use your credit card to pay for it, and then you use your currency to pay Capital One, and then you don't have to pay cash on the credit card.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay.
And that's what helped me get a handle on points and miles,
Yeah.
is that that's a form of currency for the respective credit card or airline.
Yeah, that's incredible. So what are some of your favorite cards right now?
Right now, what I have in my wallet, obviously, is I still have the Capital One Venture X. I have also American Airlines Red Aviator card.
Yep.
That's a great card to get if you like American Airlines. And the reason it's great is there's no minimum purchase required to get the points. So you apply for the card, and you could go out and buy a stick of gum. You got to make one purchase. That's it.
Oh, and
it could be anything. Yeah, it could be anything.
Wow, I did not know that.
And then
That's great.
you get the miles. Most of them you have a minimum spend you got to meet.
Yeah.
When I got my Venture X card, I got 75,000 miles, but I had to spend $4,000 in 3 months.
Yeah.
Well, my normal spend, that was no problem getting that. We like Marriott hotels.
Yeah.
That's our preferred hotel chain. So I ended up getting a Marriott card as well through Chase.
Through Chase, okay.
And then I also have another Chase card called the Chase Preferred Sapphire card. And that one is a transferable card that I talked about earlier. It's got transferable currency. And one of the hotels that it transfers to is Marriott. That's one of the reasons why I got it.
Nice.
It was a way for me to stack more points on Marriott. Plus, a lot of the airline transfer partners are the same as Capital One. So if I need to, I can pull my points.
That's awesome.
And
So
get a
you're
big
creating
redemption.
some cohesiveness in your strategy of like, hey, you got Capital One and you have Chase, so if you needed to bridge some stuff and bring them together, you can.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
yes,
incredible.
because my wife and I, we were planning a trip to Europe, and we actually got one planned now. And that was the thought. I was going to have to pull from 2 different entities to get enough points together. Well, it turns out I didn't need to. We got a trip for March to, we're flying from New York to Amsterdam for a couple of days, then on to Dublin, and we're going to travel around Ireland for 7 days, and then off to Paris for a few days, and back to JFK. Well, we'll spend a few days in JFK for a few days as well. But we got that for 15,000 points each way. So
that's incredible.
that was an incredible deal. That's an incredible
15,000 points each, and that got you to all those destinations. And you told me, you were the one that told me about the strategy, the layover strategy, to kind of build in more
the stopover.
The stopover.
Yes, the stopover.
And what was that?
So stopovers are this.
Yeah, this is a neat trick because I have never used this, and I think it's genius. If you want to hit a few different, like if you're going to Europe and you want to go to a few different countries for a couple of days,
this is a good strategy.
Yeah.
I just learned about this.
Yeah.
So it was great to be able to put it into practice. So
yeah, I love this.
You've heard of layovers, like when you fly, you're going to one destination, but you got to go to other destination first for usually a few hours, and then you get on a plane.
Yeah.
Stopovers are basically the same thing, but longer.
Yeah.
They're usually 12 hours. They could be 24 hours. Some airlines, and the airline we're flying, which is KLM, allows you to build in stopovers into your trip. So KLM flies to Dublin, but they stop in Amsterdam first. And they allow you to stay there for up to a week at no charge. Now, obviously, you pay for your hotel, but the airline's not going to charge you any extra for that. And you stay there, you get like another vacation out of the deal, and then you get back on the plane, how many days later you decide, and you go down to your main destination. And
that's incredible.
It's basically a free stopover. It's not costing you nothing because they don't charge it to go on to Dublin.
That's incredible. So you're literally going to Ireland, Amsterdam, Paris, and New York.
Yes.
On 15,000 points, one way each.
Yes.
Which with bonuses is very economical.
Yes.
And because you had the stopover strategy, you're able to. I mean, that's an amazing trip. That's a lifetime trip.
It's going to be amazing.
People.
Yeah, we are so looking forward.
And it's doable. That's the cool part. It's tangible. It's real. It's doable. I mean, you guys are traveling more now than when we first met. That's no credit to me. That's all credit to you for doing all the research, putting in all the time, you know, showing up.
You planted the seed.
Okay, but yeah, no. I didn't say that in the sense like take credit. What I'm saying is like you put in the time to research it, but you do that, and now you're taking amazing trips, traveling the world, and you guys are living, which is what we're all about, like being intentional with what we're doing with our time.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you see the stories all the time of people that retire, they get sick, they pass away early, and it's like nobody wants that. You know, it's the worst thing ever. And so you guys are making memories. And what I also love is you built one around your daughter's graduation.
Yes.
You know, showing up powerfully for that, doing something special around it. It's meaningful. I mean, that's
and this truly is a hobby. You get what you put into it. You get out of it what you put into it. The more work you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. So you can really get into the weeds if you want, and you'll figure that out when you go and look it up. But you can also do it, maintain a reasonable level where you don't have to put a whole lot of work into it either.
You don't have to make it your whole life and be obsessive, or you
yes, because it can really, it can really get out of hand. Yes.
So one last thing I want to close with that I just want to touch on is one thing where I could improve my award travel game is on the redemption. Mm-hmm. And we talked about that. There's also like you got to be careful how you're redeeming because there's ways you can maximize or minimize your results from the points you got.
Yes.
Right. So what's like one tip you would have for like redeeming the points more efficiently than just calling the airline and booking a trip with your points?
What you want to do is there's websites out there. You got to get used to the first thing you got to know is and understand is airline partner alliances. Mm-hmm. And to give an example, like the legacy carriers here in the United States being American, United, and Delta, they're part of alliances with other airlines. Most of them, well, the rest of them overseas. So American is part of One World. I use that one the most because that's the dominant airline here. But they're partners with British Airways. And British Airways is who I use to book American Airlines flights all the time. I can't tell you the last time I booked an American Airline flight with American Airlines.
Really? That's so interesting.
I do it through British Airways.
Through their online portal, like their login?
Yes, yeah, it's online. Yeah. Wow. Now, when you're booking, what you want to do is you search with, it'll say something, search with miles, and you go in there and you start looking around, and when you find one, what you want to do, I call, and because sometimes you have phantom space on there. It's not actually, it looks like it's there, but it's not there. And there's been people that have been burned by that in the past.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I will tell you, that doesn't seem to happen with British Airways, but when I booked this Ireland trip with KLM, I called and made sure they could see it, and they did. They put a hold on it for me for 24 hours. They transferred my points over and then did it, and that's the safest way.
That's smart.
So when you transfer your points, you got to remember your points transfer one way, out. So once they leave your account and they go into the airline account or the hotel account, they're staying there. Yeah. And then a clock starts ticking because they're only good for 24 to 36 months, depending on the individual airline. So you got to be careful because there's been people that get points and miles stuck when they think they have a redemption and they don't.
They don't.
So
got to know these little things, the tricks of the trade.
Yes, and I got that a lot from reading and then Award Travel 101. So,
that's so awesome.
Verify the space is there before you transfer your points.
That's amazing. I love it. John, thanks for making time to do this, man. I think this
Thank
is
you for having me.
I hope, well, first of all, I love working with you. I love working back. I'm so grateful to see you guys doing this and traveling, and that's how I measure my success and what I'm doing is like my clients are out living and enjoying, you know, and it's just such a great thing.
We appreciate you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you as well. And my hope is that this inspires someone out there who's hoping that they can do the same, travel, maybe get out to see someone, and maybe they have a real, clear objective, like they've been a family member they want to go visit, they haven't been able to.
Right.
Maybe this allows them to be able to do that.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It opens up the whole new world.
Yeah,
it's
really
awesome.
So thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. Great to have you.
Yeah,
thanks for joining us. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like more content like this, check out another video on travel hacking right here, and we'll see you soon. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you like more video on travel hacking and want to see my personal strategy of how I was able to stack some points to take my family on a really cool trip this year, check out this video right here, and I'll see you in the next one.